Greetings. Okay, so wanted to figure out if I wanted to go live or just do it this way, but I know that I have to show like demonstration. The AC will come on as soon as I start recording. So I'm going to talk loud so you guys can hear me, but I wanted to just share this quick message with you guys. And, for some of you, it's going to be exactly what you need when you need it. Whenever time, frame that you hear this message, it'll be for you. So I have notes. You might hear my papers and stuff like that. So the message is in regards to a couple of encounters that I had. So, well, I shouldn't say encounters. So one being a dream that I had, one being a vision that I had, and a correlation of just like eagles being this big message for a minute. Like, I've always been drawn to eagles, and I've shared this story before. When I was in kindergarten, I remember being out, it was like recess or something, and I remember being out in the back, kind of where it was like a big field where the playground was. I remember seeing an eagle fly around the school. And around that time, I think like couple of teachers were mentioning it, but it's not really uncommon. It is, but it's not, because Arizona and being in the desert, my school was literally in the desert, so that's not strange really. And it wasn't like it was like near the school per se, like it was like where the kids were in danger. It was like you could see them by the mountains, and I'll never forget that. So eagles have always stood out to me. And I've heard a couple of messages before where people have mentioned eagles, and one woman in particular, she would not be fond of me because she's like a prophetic channel Christian, and she would not be fond of that, but I'm led to watch what I'm led to watch. And she had spoke about eagles and partnerships and marriages and coming together. And I also remembered a dream I had maybe a couple years or so ago, where it was like an eagle strapped down. He was tied down, and eagles represent freedom and liberation, right? So that was a metaphor for some sort of block. I'm not going to go into too much detail into that dream because that's a personal dream, but Spirit wanted me to share just the characteristics of the eagle. This very well could represent what your union is about and going to be about, because I feel like this message is not just for people that are seeking to be married or waiting or single. It's also for people that are already in marriages, or you're about to get married, like you're engaged, right? You're already in place with that. So Spirit was talking about eagle marriages, and I remember this dream that I had, where I think I shared this dream with you guys, where I had this dream where I was like in a rodeo type event. It was like a festival or something with like a rodeo theme, and it was out on a ranch, and it was like dirt ground, and I was waiting in line with two of my family members. We were waiting in line. Our line was moving kind of slow and the other line was moving fast, and then all of a sudden our line started to pick up, and then people from the other line started to merge over to where we were. Fast forward, we're in the festival, and it's like vending setups, and people have their vending booth set up, and this woman, she had a booth, and it had this sign on it that said Eagle Marriages. And so in the dream, I knew it meant something, because I was like, oh, let me get my phone out, and I was trying to take a picture, and my phone would not allow me to open the camera. So the lady was like, if you want me to take it for you, I could take it for you. And I was like, yes, please. And she took it for me because I knew that I was going to share it. It was kind of like, I felt like I was how I am sometimes. I'm like, I'm going to share this with maybe a friend or somebody that knows the significance of something we've been talking about. And I feel like it's a sign or Spirit speaking, or I'm going to share this with people on YouTube or whatever, right? So it was that type of feeling, like I know I'm going to have to share this, and I couldn't get my camera open, and the lady helped me. So that always stood out to me. I was like, okay, eagle marriages, and I know what eagles represent to me. So I'm just like, okay. So the nature of the eagle stood out to me because I feel like this message is for those of you that are, you have an eagle anointing, you have a prophetic gift, you have a seer ability and gift that, yeah, everybody has the ability to tap into their intuition, and the gift of discernment is something that, we can all tap into. Not everybody utilizes it. So you have the gift, right? And with the marriage in itself, it's a high level prophetic message, and I'll get into, or marriage, excuse me, I'll get into that, and coupling. But eagles are known to be leaders. They tend to fly alone. So if they're not with their, with fellow eagles, they tend to just fly alone. They don't fly with other birds. So they're very focused, very self ambitious and motivated, and they have a leadership about them. They are dependable birds as well. They're very fearless. Like, they embrace storms. Like, they're not afraid of the storm. They'll fully embrace it. They're able to even fly in the storm. Like, that's a dangerous thing, but they have the capability of doing that. They also are very liberated beings as well. They're faithful. They're also very strong because they're known to carry strong loads. They can carry pretty heavyweight things. So this is a very powerful bird, which is why it's called the king of the birds. But yeah, so they're independent. They're also very unwavering as well. So, like, one thing about them is when they're trying to catch their prey, they're very, very focused and intentful, and they will keep their focus on that no matter what until they until they get their prey. So they're very unwavering beings. And like I said, they have the capacity to fly like really, 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 really high, like high levels of heights, right? High levels of height makes no sense. Yeah, so it's like the top, what I'm getting from this is like the ability to fly high and above and see low, is that the higher you are up, the higher your perspective is, right? And when you're, in that high space, that high level energy, you sit closest to God, or you're in your God mind when you're up there, right? So another thing about eagles is they do not eat dead things. So eagles, like, when it comes to, if you switch this in a perspective of like how you walk in this eagle spirit, you don't eat dead things that don't give you life, things that do not edify you, encourage you, motivate you, bring you happiness, joy. Like, you don't feed off dead things that mean nothing, things that aren't of your highest good. Like, you don't participate, you don't feed into it, you don't pay attention to it, right? So that's the type of spirit mind that an eagle has. They don't eat dead things. Another thing about them, like I said, they don't fly with other birds other than eagles. And if not an eagle, they're by themselves. So you surround yourself by like-minded people, right? So when it comes to your gifting, you know that you can't just surround yourself with certain people. It's like, yeah, there's certain people that may, you'll be guided to connect with, or be friends with, or even date. And then, if these are people that no longer serve your energy, or you find that these are small-minded people, they're valley people, meaning they're people that are stuck in low energy. They're like crabs in a barrel. They don't want to come higher. They want to stay where they're at. You can't stay there. An eagle will refuse that. Like, there's no way, right? So I feel like I'm kind of jumping all around. So I'm just kind of jump back into the whole message of what I was getting. But an interesting thing about the female eagle is that she will test. So oftentimes, like before the mating process, male eagles will surround themselves around a particular female eagle. So what she does is she takes a stick and she goes really, really high. She flies really, really, really high. And when she takes flight, she drops the stick below, and the male has to catch the stick, and whatever male catches the stick and doesn't allow it to touch the ground is who she'll decide to mate with. So this is a whole deciding, do I want to mate with you? So I want to say this to ladies, okay? And the stick, I want to get into that first. The stick for me, it was like, it made me think of the staff of Moses, and just the staff in general. Usually when I see staffs and stuff like that, it represents direction, divine direction. It represents power of God inside of you. It also represents trust and faith in God working through you. So I came across a really good message, a really good word. This man was talking about how the power of Moses' staff, in a perspective I didn't even think, that when Moses had that encounter with the burning bush, God in the burning bush, his staff was a part of his job, his career, that he was, his herding or whatever. And God was saying, and I'm paraphrasing, or the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit was speaking and saying that I would use your staff to do my wonders. So it's like, and the way the man put it was really, really insightful, was that your career sometimes, and I feel like this that I'm doing, I guess you could say it's a career. Like on the surface, yes. On a deeper level, it's a purpose too at the same time, because I'm helping people. I'm delivering divine messages. So God can use our career oftentimes to reach us. So going back to the female bird and the process of deciding who she will mate with, the bird that catches it, because they have to, you got to catch that stick fast. You got to be determined. You got to be quick. You got to be very focused to catch that stick. So that talks about commitment. She's testing his commitment. So let me see how faithful and how committed you are. And the stick, going back to the whole purpose, and your purpose, your mantle, your career. So it's like, can you be someone that I trust in my purpose, in my mantle, who I am? Like, can I trust you with that? Because not every, I'm just going to say man, but take it as it applies, not every man is going to rise to the occasion or hold the capacity to do that, because maybe they're not called to, it's not meant in either way, or they just don't want to. They don't, they might want to mate with you, they might want to get with you, but they don't truly know what it takes, or they don't want to do what it takes. You know what I mean? So it's like, no interruptions. Like, I'm in purpose. You know what I mean? No interruptions unless you're going to, be someone that I can trust and commit my energy and time to, or you're going to take away or you're going to add, right? So yeah, once they decide to mate, this is another interesting thing that I learned about eagles too, is once they decide who they mate with, the two eagles they fly again, they take high flight, and they do the spiral like dance around each other. And this is something that they've had to practice years to do. Like, the spiral thing that they do is something that eagles take years to practice. So it's kind of like when it comes to love, like, you go through different heartbreaks in life, whether it's a crush, whether it's people that you've been in long-term commitments with. You go through those different experiences in your love life. So it's like, when you meet that right person that you decide to connect with, that you decide to do life with, because it's another thing about bald eagles is that they mate for life. So they are monogamous birds. So it's like, when I decide that, it's like, I test, not testing like in a toxic way, but just, vetting you out, making sure that you're someone that, I could trust. And once they do that, they do this dance, and they've practiced this many times, but it's like, it's different now. You got it, because this is the person. This is the right person for you. So after that, they go ahead and they, eventually build their nest together. And another interesting thing that I learned about them is that when they're building the nest for their young, they use like sticks and things like that, and some of their feathers. And they create this really sturdy, strong nest that has also been known to break trees. Like, that's how strong these nests are. Like, that can represent like a strong foundation, a strong family and home life, a stable home life, a sturdy unit, And it's not just stability as far as money and house, and, it's the heart of the home is where the heart is. So it's a stable foundation of love in the home. And yes, the father goes out and hunts for the young initially in the beginning for a few weeks, but after that they teach their young how to be self-sufficient at a very young age, how to hunt for themselves. So the mother also does a job of not keeping their young in the same spot for a long time, because they want to take them out of their comfort zone. Eagles are very intelligent beings. I'm like, a lot of things I didn't know about the eagle. But anywho, so the word and the message that I wanted to share with you guys is that these marriages that Spirit is talking about and has been talking about, like that I've been getting and I've been sharing with you guys, they have already been foretold to you. So prophecy, prophetic just means foretold, future events, whatever. It's already been foretold to you about your marriage, or things and qualities or aspects about your marriage, or maybe the person, or it will be something if it hasn't been revealed to you, or it could just be a series of things over time. So you guys could already be with your person, like, you guys could be courting right now. You guys could be maybe just, getting to know each other. For some of you, like talking. This could be someone that is a friend to you, an associate. You guys could be engaged, or you guys can already be married, like I said. So you and your person have the prophetic gift. You have an eagle anointing. So an eagle anointing, pretty much, just to sum it up, is just you see things from a high place because you are close to God. When I say God, I'm not talking about a religious God. So you know how to discern the difference. You see things from a high mind and high perspective. You're also someone that surrounds yourself with like-minded people, or you don't allow yourself to be influenced by low-minded, single, low-level thinking, crabs in a barrel, negative energy, dead, just dead energy. You don't allow yourself to surround yourself with these people, or not for long. And you're someone that when you bring about a message or a vision, you're someone that brings solutions. So even if there is an issue or problem, you bring the solutions. You also bring encouragement, empowerment. You may provide tough love. Okay. So it comes from love, but it may, not always be something people want to hear. Like as a seer and as a messenger, like if y'all really about that life, you know that the things that you see is not always light and fluffy. That's just unrealistic. But it comes with solutions, though. It comes with encouragement, though. It's not just doom and gloom. You also know how to withstand any storm you face. You become more bolder and stronger and wiser for it. So you may have gone through a series of tough cycles in your life, but you always know how to rise. You don't stay stuck in that for too long. You know how to see the higher purpose in things, right? And you are a leader. And this can also, like I said, apply to your person, has that type of spirit and essence. So your marriage is going to come with a purpose, a deeper reasoning, an assignment, something that's just deeper than just romance and just, oh, we're just together because we have kids, or, we do it for the money. Like, no, this is not that type of connection. These are higher unions. These are not connections where the low energy, where, that's not what this type of connection or union is. So some of you may be in this season of drought in your love life, where you don't feel like much is happening in your love life, or you're coming up against a lot of challenges. Again, these connections, a divine connection is easy, but it doesn't come easy. Does that make sense? And Spirit gave me that perspective the other night. Like, divine connections are easy in a sense, like they flow, they're beautiful. Not to say that they don't have their ups and downs, but when it comes to joining and coming together, it's not always easy. It's not going to be something that just happens overnight, and you know what I mean, like forced, something that is just forced, and there's no type of growth, there's no type of evolution within yourself. It's just something that just comes easy. It's just something that you don't take seriously, you don't honor it, you don't respect it, or the other person doesn't. It's not that type of connection. So that dream that I had where I was at the rodeo, it's like people were waiting in line, like we're waiting for that. So spirit has already given you the drop, the spiritual drop. Spirit already gave you the spiritual tea. Like, this is what's happening. Your spiritual team has revealed this marriage thing to you. For some of you, like, if this is not for you, it's not for you. But I'm getting like certain things have already been foretold to you. And sometimes we have a habit of wanting to rush the process because we get the prophecy, we get the download, we get the message, the vision, and we're just like, okay, you're too focused on the middle. So it may seem like everybody else is moving ahead of you where they are in love, or, oh, this person is doing this, they're going out on dates all the time, or they got a boyfriend, or they got a girlfriend, or they're doing this, and you feel like you're falling behind. Because remember, the line that I was standing in with my two family members, we were standing in line and we were waiting to get into the rodeo, and our line started to pick up after the other line. It wasn't that many people in line over there. It was more people in the line where I was waiting. So it's like a lot of people are waiting, whereas it seems like everybody else, it just comes easy. They're entering, doesn't take too long. But then I noticed that once our line started picking up, people started to merge to our side, because it may be that some people like, I don't want something that's like a microwave love, where it's not that soul food. It don't take time to cook and marinate. I don't want that fast food type of marriage or love life. I don't want that for myself. I want what they got. It might take us a little longer to get here. And some people might start to see that, like, those that, what's that saying? The first shall be last and the last shall be first, or I might be saying it backwards, but either way it goes, where it seems like, and this is not to compare and compete, that's not the energy, but sometimes, there's a difference between when we wait on what's divinely meant and what's in alignment with us, or when we try to force and make things happen and settle for things that are not for us. And it may seem like it's going to come quicker, or it's available and ready and hot, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. You know what I mean? It's not healthy. So seeing that, okay, this person has been waiting, and look, things are moving for them, things are happening, or I see the benefits of the wait, let me decide to get on that. And that's a beautiful thing for people to be like, you know what, I'm tired of trying to force, rush, control, manipulate, settle, go for what's easy, what's quicker, what's what's not healthy, what's lacking, stability, what's lacking, healthy love and relationships. I'm going to choose to, love myself. I'm going to choose to be more better at vetting people out, or being patient with my process, being patient with myself, whatever that is. And I'm going to merge. And the line started to pick up. So when I got in the rodeo, like I said, I got that confirmation of the prophetic marriages, or the eagle marriages, where these are, these are going to be marriages that withstand storms. They're going to stand the test of time. And another thing, the dream that I had, or not the dream, it was a vision I had like a few months ago. It's back in like, I want to say October. Yeah, it was around like September, late September to October, and I had this vision that it was beautiful. It was two people standing before God, which I assume was God, because it was like these really big feet. I couldn't see the face of God. It was like this big, and I don't believe God is like a human being or man or a giant thing, but the human mind has to comprehend things a certain way. So I seen this really big figure, and all I could see was their legs and their feet, and they were huge, like a giant. I can't explain it. It was huge, and they were sitting on a throne, and it was two people, a couple, a bride and a groom, standing before God, getting married. God was marrying them. And once the ceremony was done, in the vision I saw the eagle took a scroll. I don't know what the scroll had on it, but they took the scroll and they took flight up and above, to like higher up. And imagine, we're already technically, like in this vision, it's already heaven, right? Or what we would see as the heavenly realm. It's already high up, like way, way, way above this earthly realm. And imagine the bird is flying even higher above that. I don't know what that it was something to see. Like, I can't describe it. Like, that was a crazy vision. But for those of you that are in waiting, that are growing tired, frustrated, weary with your process, or you're dealing with self-doubt or just doubting, what you've been shown, always ask Spirit for confirmation. But sometimes, like, Spirit is like, I done told you. Your spiritual team, like, they've been delivered the message to you, right? So if you're led to, and I look at scriptures not from this religious standpoint, but you can take it as an affirmation or confirmation, or just something to give you encouragement. But this particular scripture is Isaiah 40:31. And if you need encouragement, there's a message for you. But I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want this to be that long. But this is just for you guys that are technically in waiting, and not waiting in vain, where you're not living your life. And sometimes and I'll be honest with you guys, and I had to be honest with myself with this, because I was like, there is this feeling that something is missing, and I'm not like in this desperate state. But sometimes it's just like, yeah, you're content and you're happy, but there's also, it's kind of like the Nine of Pentacles, right? Where you got it, you're happy with certain things, but you feel like there's something missing. And sometimes that can tend to be, projecting outside of yourself and feeling like, oh, until I get this, then I'll be happy. But sometimes it really is that you notice that there's something that's not quite all, like there's still like a puzzle piece that hasn't fully completed the full puzzle. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes. I'm like, I know this, and I feel, if you feel this way, check in with yourself. But I do believe that if it's from a healthy place, it's more so like the soul saying that this is a part of the purpose. This is a part of the bigger picture. This person is not just because of loneliness. It's not because you just want somebody, you just want a companion, or you just want to have sex. Or it's coming from a place of, that this is an addition. It's an addition to something that is already, there, that's already full. And vice versa for this other person. Like, it's going to be something that adds to each other. It builds up. Okay, it has a sturdy foundation. It is a sturdy foundation. It can withstand the storms. It can stand the test of time, and is a higher purpose to it. So that is not always desperation and loneliness and lacking self-love. Like, sometimes it's the soul knowing, like, okay, everything's not fully complete. Like, that part of myself, I'm still waiting and open, so I hope that makes sense, and I hope that resonates. Like, I understand that there's a higher purpose to marriage, and some people might think that all I do is talk about love, and I can't help what Spirit provides to me. And sometimes I don't always want to deliver love messages either. Like, I'm not like happily in a relationship and at love and stuff, so sometimes you just don't want to deal with it. You just kind of like, okay, until it comes. And it can be a little bit trying and testy sometimes. You just want to focus on other things because you don't want to focus on what's not here. But if Spirit is delivering a message to us of encouragement, because like I said, love is beautiful. Companionship, a healthy companionship, is beautiful. Family is beautiful. And the purpose behind marriage and union is beautiful, and it's unique, it's different. So people's take on marriage is subjective based off of how they see marriage and how, if they value it or they don't. And marriage is not just about the rings and the venues and, like all of the hoopla around, that's, it's, again, that's subjective. Some people, that's based off of your, your desire, if you want to have that type of thing. And, and for those that really, value marriage, you don't necessarily have to have all of that going on. Whatever's sacred to you, whatever means something to you, that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? So you're not making it all about that. It's not to say that you should shame yourself and not be excited to celebrate and, look your best and have a good time. Like, that's, but that's not the main focus and purpose of it. And I almost forgot to share. I'm going to share these cute eagles with y'all. So I was in this store today. I went to this national market, and they had like all this dope like art and like altar stuff, like altar spaces. They had like Ganesh, and it was just all this dope art. And one of the pieces that stood out to me was these two eagles. It was like a head of two eagles. And I was like, like spirit. And that was the first thing that came to mind, was the whole eagle marriages. Because I've never seen like an eagle, like statue or something, or picture depicting two of them together. And it almost looked like a couple, the way that they're standing. And I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. But I feel like that was another way of spirit confirming and to provide that encouragement, because I debated whether I was going to share it as like a community post or share it on my Instagram story, but I was just like, no, I feel like spirit has a message. And it took a couple of hours for me to really like download what it was, because I didn't really think too much into it. So when it came to me, I started feeling led to get my journal out, and I knew that spirit was about to deliver a message. So here it is. I hope you guys enjoy this, and that it brings you and provides you encouragement and peace and confirmation, revelation, and anything that is of positivity. We here for it. And as always, much love. Be blessed, be safe, take care, peace.